Interactive make video games. A project by Argonauts. I don't know if you guys heard of them anymore, because, well, they don't do much today. But anyways, we're starting a new project, and it's Croc! Legend of the Gobbos! I've been long awaiting to do this game for a very, very long time on this channel. It's one of my favorites, and it's the starting point of everything in my gaming career. So, let's cue the intro. Well, anyways, I want to welcome you guys to part 1 of Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. I've been wanting to do this project for a very long time. This game, like I said before, was the start of my gaming career when I was a little kid. And I had to play with some editing powers to get that intro sequence played in. Well, I might as well read out the text version of this game's intro while I'm still here, in which the Gobbos are described. Who were the Gobbos? Examine ancient paintings from the time of their civilization, but you will find that the Gobbos were short, furry people who could be politely described as gerbil-esque. But what of their soul, their character? One historian wrote that the Gobbos were among the most advanced civilizations of their day, making great strides in science and literature, a people whose intelligence shines like a beacon in the night. It should be noted that this historian himself was indeed a Gobbo, and not only made numerous grammatical errors in this account, but also misspelled Gobbo. No, the Gobbos were a simple people, a race whose greatest inventions were edible deodorant and the willpower cow moisturizer. What? You can already see why I'm in love with this game. In over 2,000 years of existence, the Gobbos only sent 3 of their kind to college, and 2 of those were return postage due. O'Kill said they weren't the sharpest pens in the cushion, but they were loved. But were they lovable? You bet. It's lovable that they would often keep each other as pets. But oddly enough, this was very lovable. their very kind-hearted innocence that set in motion a chain of events that would send the Gobbos plummeting towards a terrifying fate. A fate worse than death. A fate so frightening that those with hearts conditions may wish to stop reading now. Although it's not really that frightening. If it's playing the intro again, I might as well just skip this out and then continue reading it as I go into the first level. Oh, never mind. It's playing another demo, in which a crocodile was found. It all started one morning in the 3rd month of the year of the soup spoon. And there's a footnote here. I gotta find this thing. If I can find it. At the start of each year, the Gobbo High Priestess would announce the kitchen utensil that, when put down their pants, would bring good luck. Gobbos took this very seriously, although some began to question the practice during the year. The electric can opener. What? Okay, you can see why I'm memorizing this trip down memory lane. King Rufus the Intolerant, ruler of the Gobbos. People far away had heard of King Rufus the Intolerant and feared him as his name for his name alone. Of course, the Gobbos knew his full name was King Rufus the Lactose Intolerant, and therefore only feared him after a big bowl of cottage cheese. Ruler of the Gobbos was down by the riverbank, watching the sunrise. He had just finished breathing a sigh of relief that once again the sun had returned, when suddenly a small basket floated ashore. He and a group of his Gobbo subjects huddled around it. Peering inside, they saw a baby crocodile. Naturally, they had assumed that he was the early leader in the annual miniature crocodile basket race. Not that there had ever been such an event, but never know about these things, and many of the Gobbos placed bets just to be on the safe side. After a couple hours, when no other baskets had come by, the Gobbos decided that perhaps there was no race, or it had been called off the night before by crocodiles who shared their concern that the sun had gone away for good. The Gobbos were at first wary of the little reptile, but were quickly won over by his vulnerability and inquisitive nature. King Rufus decided that the Gobbos would raise their crocodiles one of their own, and that he himself would care for and instruct it in all the ways of the Gobbos. The Gobbos fell in love with their new charge. As he was a crocodile, they began to call him Crocodile, but some of them thought of a clever name for him, Croc. Although to some Gobbos he would always be known as Mr. Fun Socks and Mr. Choo Choo McBookie. What? Croc learned quickly from his Gobbo friends. He surprised with them just how Gobbo-like he was. He could sing their anthem backwards and forward and won every Gobbo dancing contest he entered. In fact, little Croc was so Gobbo-like that it had never occurred to him to take a single step, take a single bite out of a Gobbo. As far as he was concerned, he was a Gobbo. And thus, for a great time of joy reigned in the Gobbo Valley. Croc was healthy. King Rufus was happy. His subjects hadn't had so much fun since they heard the 3-minute egg timer. But then, Croc grew. I'll read the next part of the story after level 1. We're about halfway through the story, so I'll finish the rest up after level 1. But from what you heard of the story so far, you could see why I fell in love with this game very quickly. The controls themselves are going to make this game even more amazing. Just listen to the music here. Excuse me, I need to fix this real quick. Now, just listen to the music real quick. This game controls very, very smoothly. It's a lot reminiscent of like Mario 64, stuff like that. And this game is like 20 years old. So, it came out roughly at the same time. In this game, I can't think of what else good to... There's just so much good to say about it. You guys know I love this game with all my heart. It would rank up there in my favorite video games of all time. And I probably bet a lot of people that played this game might have not have known some of the secrets that I'm pulling off, such as that one. Down we go into the underground. I'm thinking for this adventure, at least this part of it at least, I'm gonna do 2 levels. 2 to 3 levels of video, and then I'll just end the episode there. I played this game as a kid. I suddenly lost it in the middle of a move one year. I don't know what year it was or where I was moving to. I was so heartbroken and looked far and wide for this game, asking people in used game stores, hey, have you guys got Croc Legend of the Gobbos? And a lot of them are like, what? We never heard of this game before. This game was like very, very hard to come by. And I got this for like, well, my brother got it for his 5th birthday, but I quickly fell in love with this game as the both of us were playing it as kids. This game looks, character Croc, the character I'm controlling, looks very, very similar to that of Yoshi. There's a story behind this that I'll have to do some research on, and I'll talk about this in a future video or something. But this game has a huge story and lore behind it. Between Argonaut software, the way why it looks like Nintendo's Yoshi, and why this character even has a buck tooth that's similar to the developer's cat. Whoops, I mistimed that stop. Every time I break a box, I get these little gems called crystals. I might not have 68 of them in my inventory. I get hit even once, I drop them as if I were to take damage in Sonic the Hedgehog games and drop all my golden rings. And inside each level, there are 5 Gobbos, these brown furry creatures that are just so adorable and have some of the gurkiest sounds and all that. From these little doubless creatures known as Dantinis. And then there are 5 of these color gems that come in the colors of red, green, blue, orange, not orange, yellow, and purple. And once you get all 5 of them, you can open doors like this, where the 6th Gobbo at the level is being hidden. And then if I get all 6 of the Gobbos in a level and defeat the boss, so it's in a pattern of 3 levels a boss, I would unlock a bonus 5th level of a set of 5 levels. But only if I get all 18 Gobbos prior to that point. And I have to tail smack these gongs at the end of the level to complete the level. Like in this level, I managed to get everything, including all the Gobbos and 77 crystals. So I'm off to a pretty nice start. Next level is level 1, 2. Underground, overground. Before we get into that, I'm going to read the next part of the main story, in which Croc is a Gobbo no more. In one fantastic growth spurt, Croc grew as tall as 3 Gobbos stacked on top of each other. He started eating like crazy. For breakfast alone, he ate over 150 buckets apiece. While walking, he would accidentally smash through buildings, trip over homes. A simple game of patty cake with friends related to multiple contussions and internal bleeding. Despite his friends' efforts to brush off these accidents, Croc just began to feel out of place at Gobbo Valley. Just as Croc decided to do something about it, a Gobbo ran past him screaming, "Dantinis!" In which trouble comes to the valley. These Gobbos had long told stories of the Dantinis, a band of villains far and wide for the ruthless burning, wanton looting, and marvelous singing voices. The Dantini Glee Club would have won all the big choral contests if they had not been disqualified for eating the judges. That was another footnote. What was worse than wherever there were Dantinis, Baron Dante could not be far behind. The king of all villains. Baron Dante was stronger than 1,000 Dantinis, and he had a long-established hatred for all things Gobbo. He had seen the Croc and the Gobbos being blissfully happy and decided that enough was enough. It was time for them to suffer. The valley swarmed with Dantinis as they captured Gobbo after Gobbo and threw him into cages. Dante watched it all, laughing that horrible laugh. King Rufus knew he had to save Croc, so he tail-swept the gong that sat in the center of the village, and it rang, summoning Beady the bird, which is the bird that's carrying me right now. She appeared immediately, and King Rufus instructed her to whisk Croc away to safety. Rufus looked at Croc and said, "You're our only hope." Before he could say anything else, Beanie spirited Croc away in the shower of magical sparklies, just as Baron Dante snatched up the king in his iron hand. Baron Dante had taken over all of the Gobo Valley. He used his magical powers throughout the land to turn good creatures into evil, including ladybugs, ducks, lizards, fish, and even mountain goats. They all became horrific monsters under his command. Baron Dante stashed Gobbos under a Dantini guard throughout this new kingdom, so that if he needed someone to taunt or even bring them to tears, a cute little Gobbo will always be nearby. The Gobbos, meantime, being a highly social group, were distraught at being separated from one another. Baron Dante kept King Rufus as his personal pet, locked in a cage back at his castle. Rufus was taunted night and day by Dantini. He consoled him in these dreadful hours that at least Croc was out of Baron Dante's reach. Meanwhile, Croc and Beanie the bird watched as their homeland was turned into Dante's playground. Beanie told Croc that he must act. How could a bird speak of all things? But Croc was confused. What could he do against the might of the Baron? Beanie grabbed him by the stretch of his backpack and shook him with all her little birdie strength. How could that little bird carry me that bad? You're the only chance they have. You must help. Can you imagine what it's like for a Gobbo being all alone? Croc sniffled. He could very easily imagine what it was like, and he felt more alone than he had ever been. Before straightening himself, he said to Beanie, "Alright, but I'm gonna need your help." Here, the legend becomes fuzzy. Historians are unsure as to whether Croc was successful in saving his friends. But one thing is for certain, from that point on, he became the greatest champion the Gobbos had ever had. I find it funny that not even the developers know the outcome of the game, but I do, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Want to know the outcome of the adventure? Definitely tune in for the remainder of the adventure to see what unfolds. I'll play level 2, Underground Overground, and talk more about the beauty of this game. Just look at this graphic scenery and listen to the music playing. It's all beautiful, isn't it? Yep, this was the game that started it all for me. I'm walking down memory lane, figuratively speaking, as I'm doing this. It's so amazing. It's all smooth. It's so joyful. And that guy tried shooting something at me from his trident. And I got myself a red crystal ball. Let's stomp on the ground. Your laughter's not gonna stop me, boy. This isn't that hard. Let me just stomp these blocks, similar to what you see in, like, Mario. There's a lot of Mario elements in this game. And even lives come in the form of hearts. Well, maybe not exactly the same thing as you see in Mario. But the platforming mechanics and a lot of stuff to go with it are a lot of what you see in Mario. This is not a ripoff of Mario, but it's still an amazing game and story to behold. I just love this game's sound effects, including the whee every time I grab a balloon. I can't save you, little buddy. Even though you're shouting, "Hey, I can't save you, I don't have a key." But there is one right here. And these platforms I keep grabbing and jumping onto, they remind me a lot of cookies. We could go for some cookies right now. So delicious and yummy. Wow, you're fast at spawning back. How did I miss you? And I could do a flip by pressing circle on the PlayStation controller like this. That's something pretty cool that a lot of games do. Instead of trying to do... Let me get down here to make it easier. Instead of trying to do this, it's just easier to do this than this. Especially later on in the game when platforming gets very tense and difficult. That much I can say. This game has got everything to it. I have to say that. You there. Phew! I somehow survived that jump. Well, considering my expertise in video gaming, I really don't need to worry about dying too much just yet. I think I pretty much could get through this entire volcano mountain. Well, rather, island. It looks like a mountain to me. Without really taking a single point of damage unless I get unlucky in one of the boss fights. Now this is something amazing to behold. Watch. It's so amazing to just stomp through all of that. And every 100 crystals I obtain at the end of the level, I gained an extra life. But every time I start a new session, that number will reset to 0. So I might continue into the next episode in the same session, but who knows. I did 2 levels already and read an introduction, so this seems about appropriate to end the level off. Next time we're going to go into level 1-3, shouting lava, lava, lava. I am going to save my adventure at this point. If you're definitely enjoying this game and really liking the humor I'm throwing and the content I'm sharing, definitely feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Keep up to date on everything I do. I am not just doing Croc Legend at the Gobbos. I am continuing Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, and I'm also playing modern games through my streams towards the end of the week. This is the most retro you'll probably wind up seeing me do, aside from like old games like Mario or if I can my hands on it, maybe some old Sonic games, but we'll see in the future. Thank you guys for joining me in the first episode of Croc Legend at the Gobbos. We will continue off every other day or something like that with at least 1 episode. This is Subspace, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we tackle on shouting lava, lava, lava. Peace out and stay safe, everybody.